Children, today we are going to do chapter 2 from the book Beehive. The chapter's name is The Sound of Music Part 1. That is, Evelyn Glennie listens to sound without hearing it. This lesson is written by Deborah Cowley. Deborah Cowley is a freelance writer and broadcaster. She grew in Toronto, graduated from the University of Western Ontario, and moved to Ottawa to work for the Unitarian Service Committee. Now, in her biographical piece on Evelyn Glennie, she has touched those aspects of Evelyn's life which at once touches our heart. The introduction of the lesson. The biographical feature, The Sound of Music, reveals the achievements of the multi-percussionist Evelyn Glennie. Multi means many, several. Percussionist means a person who plays several percussion instruments. Percussion instruments like drum, tambourine, bongo drum, cymbal, xylophone, etc. Now, Evelyn Glennie used to play several percussion instruments, and that is why she was called multi-percussionist. Evelyn Glennie, who overcame her handicap of hearing impairment with great determination and confidence. And that is what we are going to see in this lesson. All these things she could do under the able guidance of Ron Forbes. Evelyn Glennie found a way out of her problem by developing an ability to sense music through different parts of her body. Now, this part of the slide is from Before You Read. God may have taken her hearing, but He has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. This means that although God took away her hearing power, she was impaired, but he gave her an extraordinary thing, and that was the sense of feeling. She could feel very deeply, far more deeply than the normal people, and that is why she was able to express music so beautifully. Let us start with the lesson. Rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl, looking younger than her 17 years, was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. Now, in this first slide, let us see the difficult words. Difficult words are jostle. Jostle means push roughly. When there's a crowded place, people push each other. And a slight girl, a small and a thin girl. Now here we are talking about Evelyn Glennie. And this girl she was looking younger than 17 years. But she was very excited as well as very nervous also, because she could feel the vibrations of the approaching train. Now this is the scene of the train platform. It is underground and there is a huge rush at the platform, and people are pushing each other to get way. Now there is this small little girl, thin girl, who's Evelyn. Evelyn is standing at the railway platform, and what is she doing? She is waiting for the train. And just as she feels the vibration of the approaching train, she realizes that the train is about to come, so she gets very nervous and as well as excited. So this is the train. Why is she taking this train? She is taking this train because she is going to a certain place. And this train is going to take her to London. She is going to London to learn music, as she has got admission in the Royal Academy of Music. Right now she is in Scotland and she is travelling to London. So that is why Evelyn is nervous, because she is leaving Scotland and she is going to London. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from a Scottish farm. from a Scottish farm, that is from Scotland. Daunting means frightened. She's a little frightened and scary because she's traveling for the first time. Teenager means who's in her teens. Now, Evelyn here is 17 years of age and she is a teenager and she is fresh from a Scottish farm. She is from Scotland, and which has more farms and countryside, some small villages around and farms. So she has not seen fast life and she is traveling for the first time to London. That is why she is nervous, and the writer says that she is fresh from the Scottish farm. Now here we come to know that she is traveling to London. She is going to a new place, and here she is going to Royal Academy of Music in London. That is a prestigious place where people learn music. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. Profoundly means this deeply, very deeply deaf. She was not able to listen anything. And that was the challenge which Evelyn was facing. She was an aspiring musician. Aspiring musician, a person who wants to be a musician. Okay? And that was her dream. She was profoundly, absolutely deaf. And she faced a bigger challenge, a deep challenge. What was the challenge? The challenge was that she was deaf. She was not able to hear anything. And this was a challenge. She could not hear, and this was a bigger challenge for her. Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. They called her name and she did not move. I suddenly realized that she hadn't heard, says Isabel Glennie. Now, Isabel Glennie, who is Isabel Glennie? Isabel Glennie is the name of Evelyn's mother. Evelyn's mother recollects one incident. And what was that incident? She notices when she calls out her name. She says that Evelyn was waiting for her turn to play the piano, and all of a sudden she calls out her name, but Evelyn did not respond. And that time her mother realizes that something is wrong. Why she did not respond when her mother had called her name? For quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness from friends and teacher. Conceal means she had hidden it. She did not tell it to anyone. So as Evelyn lost her sense of hearing in phases, gradually, slowly, it was a gradual process. So in the beginning, when she could hear partially, she managed to hide this disability from her friends and as well as her teachers. But by the time she was 11 years, her marks had deteriorated. Things were getting worsened. Things were getting bad. And a headmistress urged her parents to take her to a specialist. Maybe her headmistress must be calling out her name and she may not be able to respond. She was not able to respond because she could not hear. So when she was 11 years old, all these things were marked and things was getting worse day by day. So the headmistress requested her parents to take Evelyn to the doctor. It was then discovered that her hearing was severely impaired as a result of gradual nerve damage, and this didn't occur at once as she was born. How did it occur? It occurred gradually, slowly. So when the doctor checked upon Evelyn, he found that Evelyn had lost the sense of hearing because there was a gradual nerve damage. The nerves that connect to the ears, that was getting damaged, and that is why she was not able to listen. So they were advised that she should be fitted with hearing aids. Now you all know, if somebody doesn't listen, we give them hearing aid and then she can be sent to school for the deaf, not to the normal school. So this is what the doctor advised Evelyn's parents. Now what are hearing aids? Hearing aid is an equipment that is fitted into your ear and it helps a person to hear to some extent. It helps the person to hear to some extent. So he also suggested that Evelyn should be sent to a school where for the deaf children. So that is why then she was sent to such type of a school. Everything suddenly looked black, says Evelyn. When Evelyn discovered that she could not hear and that she would be sent to a school for deaf, she was not as good as normal children. She started thinking like this. So what did her world become? Her world became black. Everything became colorless. Now, what does this mean that everything became black? It means that all of a sudden you hear a bad news and you don't expect this news, and all of us, and in return, you see all blackness around yourself. And this is how Evelyn responded to this news. I hope, children, you have understood the lesson till now. Underline the difficult word. This is the first part of the video. Uh, Wait for the next two videos which I'll be uploading later. Read the chapter till here and understand it very well. Thank you.